This is the last week of high school for many students throughout New York City. And while you still have a few moments with them before they exit our system, I wanted to remind the teachers to teach their young people the values of accountability. Now, I understand that we try to go the extra mile for our young people. We try to extend deadlines. We try to listen to their explanations and their rationalizations of why they may not have submitted an assignment on time, why they may not have finished a project on time. But as you are with them for a few more days, remind them that in a lot of ways, the real world may not necessarily reflect that. There are many employers where they are not going to listen to that excuse of why they could not finish a particular project on time. So remind them that a lot of the benefits and a lot of the privileges that they've been able to have as students, they may not necessarily have those in the real world. Remind young people that the schedule of their potential employer does not revolve around their own life. A lot of young people feel very entitled and they feel as if the world revolves around them. But they are going to have to come across a lot of people and a lot of situations and a lot of circumstances in life that they don't want to hear their excuses. If they are choosing to go to college and that young person also wants to have a job, tell that young person to make sure that they schedule evening classes so that they can keep their daytime schedule open. Because an employer does not want to hear from a young person that they are available Monday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., Wednesday after 4 p.m. These kind of schedules are very unfeasible in the real world. So let your young person know that if they do plan to go to college, as well as make money on the side as they have a part-time job or a full-time job, they need to keep their daytime schedules open so that they would be more accommodating to having an actual job. A lot of young people don't realize that an employer cannot twist and turn and distort their working hours in order to accommodate them. So let the young person realize that please focus on doing your classes in the evening if you do plan to have a job in the daytime. The next thing is, especially for the students graduating from career and technical education programs, the problem with a lot of our students is that they have a misconception that every other young person in New York City is learning the same skills and getting the same certifications as they are. A lot of our automotive technology students, they don't realize that within the breadth and magnitude of New York City, we only have a handful of schools where they are learning automotive repair or collision repair. It's only a handful of schools we have where students are getting their ASC certification, their Automotive Service Excellence certification. If your students are graduating from aviation, they don't realize that that's the only high school that offers the airframe and power plant certification. If you are in one of our construction programs, whether it's studying carpentry, electrical, plumbing, or HVAC, you are in a very elite portfolio in which you are gaining a lot of skills and a lot of competencies that the average New York City kid who is graduating this week does not have. So you want to be very clear on your resume that you have that background in carpentry or electrical or plumbing or HVAC or pre-engineering or whatever is the specific CTE skill you've learned throughout the past 3 to 4 years in high school. A lot of young people, because they are inexperienced and they may have had a summer youth employment job where they babysat for a family member, or maybe they were a camp counselor. For some reason, these are the only experiences that they put on their resume, but what they can do is put their experience that they've gotten from their shop class. So if you are an electrical student and you've done 3 to 4 years of studying electrical installation in high school, you want to put down both your soft skills as well as your technical skills. If you are applying for an electrical job, your resume should say that you have an understanding of the various voltages, of circuitry, of conduit pipe bending, and so forth. You want your employers to realize that you have your OSHA certification already. The same thing goes for the carpentry students. You want the employer to realize that you have experience in measuring and cutting and building. You want your potential employer in plumbing to understand that you have experience within your shop class working with the drainage systems, repairing pipes, and working with all sorts of various tools that the average young person your age doesn't quite understand. All right, so that's the problem with a lot of CTE students. They have this false conception that every other school that's in New York City, every other student that's graduating in New York City, they have this misconception that they all have the same skills. And unless your resume has these certifications and these skills and these experience, unless your resume has actually emphasized these attributes about yourself, the employer is not going to know. So I am urging administrators, CTE teachers, and any alumni and graduating students who are a part of my connections that you revise that resume to make it painfully obvious that you are coming from the skilled trades, and that even though you're only 17, 18, 19 years old, you have a lot of experience within your shop class already. We have students where they have experience working with the automotive lifts. They have experience utilizing the diagnostic equipments, and you need to put down and spell it very clearly on your resume that you have these skills. Because if the company that you are applying to, if they do not see these statements and these words and these key phrases on your resume, they're going to think you're any other average candidate who is not qualified for the job. So make sure your resume, which is a living document, very clearly accentuates and highlights all the various concepts that you've been learning within your CTE class. And if you guys have any sort of questions or comments, as always, I am accessible. And to the CTE schools out there, especially the ones that have programs within the transportation and the building trades, always feel free to use me as a resource, because I can disseminate information that you do have candidates who are eligible to work, because we do have quite a few industry partners within New York City that are willing to recruit right from our high schools. And not every kid wants to go to college. Not every kid is ready for college, but there may be some young people where they may not want to go that academic liberal arts route. They want to go into industry and they want to put their skills to use. So schools, if you have any young person who wants to get into the industry and they are from one of our CTE programs, and for industry partners, if you are willing to recruit young talent, as always, you know where to find me. This is Gavaskar Reid, your favorite staff member from the New York City Department of Education Central Office, signing off.